You've been drinking coffee for decades. For many, it's the first thing they reach for in the morning, a ritual as familiar as brushing your teeth. But what if I told you that after the age of 60, your brain starts responding to coffee in ways most people never expect? As we age, the way our body processes caffeine changes. Your liver slows down, your sleep cycles become lighter, and your brain becomes more sensitive to certain chemicals, especially those linked to memory, focus, and mental clarity. That comforting cup of coffee you sip each day might be quietly helping or quietly harming your brain health. This isn't about scare tactics. It's about understanding what's really happening behind the scenes in your aging brain. Coffee can be a powerful tool for mental alertness, mood, and even long-term cognitive protection, but it can also disrupt your sleep, increase anxiety, and accelerate certain forms of brain fog depending on how, when, and how much you drink. In this video, I'll walk you through the real science behind coffee and the aging brain. We'll talk about what changes after 60, what to watch out for, and how to adjust your coffee habits to keep your memory strong and your mind sharp. We'll also look at the best time to drink it, what to add or avoid, and whether switching to decaf is really worth it. So before you take your next sip, stay with me. This may be the most important health choice you make today, because when it comes to aging well, knowledge is just as powerful as caffeine. As you age, your brain naturally undergoes a series of changes. Some are subtle, like forgetting names or misplacing your keys. Others are more noticeable, such as difficulty concentrating or slower processing speed. After 60, your brain's ability to regenerate cells begins to slow. Blood flow to certain areas, especially those related to memory and executive function, can decrease. The hippocampus, the region responsible for memory formation, tends to shrink slightly, affecting short-term recall and spatial awareness. These changes aren't necessarily signs of dementia. They're often just part of normal cognitive aging. But how your body handles caffeine plays directly into this process. Because caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, it can amplify both the strengths and weaknesses of an aging brain. For example, caffeine blocks a brain chemical called adenosine. Normally, adenosine builds up throughout the day, making you feel sleepy. Blocking it with caffeine keeps you alert, but in older adults, this system becomes more sensitive. That means a dose of caffeine that felt just right at age 40 may now feel overwhelming. It can cause restlessness, jitteriness, or even mild confusion if the brain becomes overstimulated. On the flip side, when used correctly, caffeine can enhance mental alertness, improve reaction time, and even sharpen focus in seniors. Another key factor is how caffeine interacts with blood flow. In younger people, caffeine constricts blood vessels slightly, increasing blood pressure and keeping energy levels up. But in older adults, whose vessels may already be narrowed or stiffened by age, this effect can become too strong sometimes, reducing oxygen delivery to certain brain regions. And we can't ignore the role of sleep. Sleep is critical for memory consolidation, brain repair, and emotional balance. After 60, your sleep becomes lighter and more fragmented, and caffeine, especially consumed in the afternoon or evening, can easily interfere with the little restorative sleep you get. All of this adds up to one critical truth. The way caffeine affects your brain after 60 is very different from how it affected you at 30 or 40. It's not about cutting coffee out entirely, it's about using it strategically. In the next section, we'll break down how timing, dosage, and even what you put in your coffee can make a dramatic difference in brain health after 60. Because when you understand how your brain changes, you can make coffee work for you, not against you. Caffeine doesn't just wake you up, it alters brain chemistry in ways that affect memory, mood, and cognitive performance. After 60, these effects can be magnified, for better or worse, depending on how your brain is aging. Let's talk memory first. Studies show that in younger adults, caffeine can enhance short-term memory, helping you stay sharp during tasks. But in older adults, the effect is less predictable. In some cases, it actually worsens memory recall, especially if taken in large amounts or too late in the day. That's because aging brains process caffeine more slowly. What you drink at 2 p.m. may still be in your system at 10 p.m., interfering with sleep and next-day memory performance. And since sleep is when memories consolidate, poor sleep means your brain has fewer opportunities to store and protect information. Caffeine also influences your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for attention and emotional regulation. When overstimulated, it can make you feel anxious, irritable, or even scattered. That's why some seniors notice a wired but foggy feeling alert. Mood swings are another overlooked side effect. While caffeine can boost dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, it also elevates cortisol, your stress hormone. For older adults whose stress resilience may already be lower, this can cause an exaggerated stress response, increased heart rate, nervousness, or even a sense of panic. And if you're already dealing with age-related mood shifts, caffeine might amplify them. For some, it triggers anxiety or low moodies, especially if combined with dehydration, blood sugar dips, or skipped meals. That's not to say caffeine is the villain here. When used wisely, it can support mental clarity, reduce fatigue, and even lower the risk of cognitive decline. But the key is personalization. The amount and timing that worked for you 20 years ago might be undermining your brain health today. So how do you get the brain benefits without the downsides? In the next section, we'll explore how your caffeine sensitivity evolves with age, and how you can adjust your coffee habits to match your brain's changing needs. As we age, our sensitivity to caffeine often increases, sometimes without us even realizing it. You may think your body has gotten used to coffee over the years, but the truth is, your tolerance isn't what it used to be. After 60, several physiological changes affect how your body handles caffeine. First, your liver's metabolism slows down, meaning caffeine stays in your system longer. A cup of coffee that once wore off in 4 hours might now linger for 6, 8, or even 12 hours, especially if your liver enzymes have declined with age, or if you're taking medications that affect liver function. Second, your kidneys may excrete caffeine more slowly, meaning it takes longer for your body to eliminate it. This prolonged presence can lead to a low-grade state of overstimulation throughout the day, affecting sleep, blood pressure, and brain rhythm. And here's something few people know. After 60, there's a natural decline in adenosine receptors, the parts of your brain that caffeine binds to. Adenosine is the chemical that makes you feel sleepy, and caffeine blocks it. But when your brain has fewer adenosine receptors, the blocking effect becomes more intense and unbalanced. This can explain why many seniors feel more jittery, anxious, or mentally foggy after drinking the same amount of coffee they've consumed for years. It's not your imagination. Your brain is literally more sensitive to caffeine, even if your taste buds aren't. You may also notice increased heart palpitations or lightheadedness, especially if drinking coffee on an empty stomach. That's because caffeine activates the sympathetic nervous system, the fight response, at a time when your cardiovascular system may already be more fragile. But perhaps the most overlooked factor is how caffeine affects your sleep quality. Not just falling asleep, but deep, restorative sleep. Seniors already experience lighter sleep due to lower melatonin and hormonal changes. When you add caffeine into the mix, especially after noon, it's a recipe for insomnia, fragmented sleep, and poor mental recovery. And here's the irony. Poor sleep leads to more caffeine the next day, which leads to worse sleep the next night, a cycle that's easy to fall into and hard to break. This can accelerate cognitive fatigue, impair memory, and leave you feeling chronically drained, no matter how much coffee you drink. So, are you unintentionally overstimulating your brain without realizing it? If you're feeling anxious, foggy, or having trouble sleeping, caffeine might be the hidden culprit. But don't worry, we're not suggesting you quit coffee. In the next section, we'll talk about how to adjust your intake and timing to work with your body, not against it. When it comes to drinking coffee after 60, timing truly matters. It's not just about what you drink, it's about when you drink it. And the wrong timing could be undermining your energy, your focus, and even your sleep without you realizing it. Many people still start their mornings with coffee immediately after waking up. But here's something surprising. That might not be the best moment for your brain or your hormones. When you wake up, your body naturally produces a spike in cortisol, your main alertness hormone. Cortisol helps regulate your internal clock and gives you that initial burst of wakefulness. Drinking coffee during this cortisol peak may actually blunt your body's own natural energy production. It's like trying to shout over someone who's already speaking loudly. Your body doesn't get to fully use its own systems, and over time, this can cause you to depend more on caffeine and less on your natural rhythm. So, what's the ideal time to drink your first cup? For most people over 60, the sweet spot is between 9:30 and 11 a.m. That's after the morning cortisol peak has subsided, but still early enough to avoid disrupting your afternoon or nighttime sleep cycles. Drinking coffee during this window allows caffeine to enhance your mental clarity and alertness without clashing with your hormonal rhythm. Now let's talk about that tempting afternoon cup. You know, the one around 3 or 4 p.m., when energy dips and focus fades. For seniors, this is where caffeine becomes a double-edged sword. While it can give you a short-term boost, it may delay melatonin production later in the evening, which is especially problematic for people already struggling with sleep quality. Research shows that consuming caffeine even 6 hours before bedtime can significantly reduce deep sleep and increase nighttime awakenings. So if you go to bed around 9 or 10 p.m., your last coffee should be no later than 2 or 3 p.m., ideally earlier. Some experts even recommend a hard stop at 12 p.m. for seniors who are extra sensitive. That might sound strict, but if you've been waking up tired, restless, or mentally sluggish, adjusting your coffee cutoff time could be one of the most powerful things you can do. Another tip: avoid drinking coffee on an empty stomach. Doing so can increase stomach acid, irritate the lining of your digestive system, and lead to heartburn, nausea, or digestive discomfort. Pairing your coffee with a light protein-based breakfast like eggs, oats, or a small yogurt can slow caffeine absorption and provide a smoother energy curve. Finally, consider how you prepare your coffee. Black coffee is low in calories and free of sugar, but adding heavy creamers, artificial sweeteners, or flavored syrups can turn it into a metabolic disruptor. These additives can spike insulin, promote inflammation, and reduce the cognitive benefits of coffee itself. If you enjoy crema, try switching to unsweetened almond milk, oat milk, or a splash of real cream, and skip the sugar entirely. Your brain will thank you. To sum up, the best time to drink coffee after 60 is mid to late morning, with food and without sugar. Avoid drinking it late in the afternoon. Time it wisely, and you'll unlock coffee's brain-boosting benefits without the hidden side effects. Up next, we'll dive into what happens when you take a short break from caffeine and how that might actually improve your memory and energy long-term. By the time most people reach 60, they've been drinking coffee daily for decades, and while caffeine can offer some amazing benefits, there's something your brain does in response to long-term coffee use. It adapts. In fact, the more often you drink coffee, the more your brain reduces its sensitivity to caffeine's effects. What once made you feel alert and energized may now barely keep you awake. This is known as tolerance. And it's not just about needing a second cup, it's about your brain literally adjusting the number and sensitivity of its adenosine receptors. Remember, adenosine is the chemical that tells your body it's time to rest. Caffeine works by blocking those receptors, but over time, your brain responds by creating more of them. So now, the same amount of caffeine has to block more receptors just to keep up. That's why your usual dose doesn't feel as strong anymore. But here's the good news: your brain's sensitivity can be reset, and one of the most effective ways to do that is by taking a short break from caffeinaceous 7 days. That might sound daunting, especially if you rely on your morning coffee, but for many seniors, a 1-week break can be a powerful way to reignite the brain's natural response to caffeine. During a caffeine reset, your adenosine receptors gradually return to normal levels. Your body begins to rebalance its natural energy cycles, and you may find that your sleep improves, your moods, and your morning alertness starts returning without needing as much help. Now, let's be real, going cold turkey after decades of daily caffeine use can cause withdrawal symptoms. These may include headaches, irritability, fatigue, or brain fog for a couple of days. But here's the thing: for most people, these symptoms peak within 48 to 72 hours, and then fade quickly. By day 4 or 5, many people already start to feel clearer and more balanced. If going completely caffeine-free sounds too challenging, another option is to gradually taper down over 3 to 5 days, reducing your intake by half each day before starting the reset. You can also substitute your morning coffee with herbal teas, warm lemon water, or even decaf to preserve the ritual without the stimulation. And once the 7-day break is over, something amazing happens. When you reintroduce coffee, if it's at the right time of day and paired with healthy habits, you'll often feel a renewed burst of energy, sharper focus, and more sustained mental clarity. Even just reducing your regular intake after the break, say, from 3 cups a day to 1 or 2, can help you maintain sensitivity and reduce the long-term strain on your nervous system. Taking regular caffeine breaks every few months can also reduce dependence and withdrawal, improve sleep, and give your body space to naturally regulate its energy and alertness. It's like tuning up your brain's engine, giving it a moment to cool off so it can run better, longer. In summary, a 7-day coffee break isn't about giving up coffee forever. It's about giving your brain a chance to restore its sensitivity and regain the full benefits of caffeine, especially after 60, when sleep patterns, energy levels, and neurological balance become more delicate. This simple habit reset could make a profound difference in how you feel day to day. In the next section, we'll explore a fascinating topic: how coffee interacts with medications in common health conditions after 60 and why ignoring this could lead to serious side effects. After 60, most adults are taking at least one or more daily medications, whether for blood pressure, cholesterol, thyroid issues, or mood regulation. And while coffee may seem like a harmless habit, it can interact with many of these medications in surprising ways. Let's start with the basics. Caffeine is not just a stimulant, it's a biologically active compound that affects liver enzymes, blood vessels, and neurotransmitters. This means it can amplify or reduce the effectiveness of certain medications, depending on when and how it's consumed. One of the most common interactions is with blood pressure medication. Caffeine can temporarily raise your blood pressure by narrowing blood vessels and stimulating the release of adrenaline. For people already managing hypertension with medication, this effect can work against the treatment, potentially keeping your pressure higher than it should be, especially in the morning after that first strong cup. If you're taking medications like beta blockers or ACE, caffeine may blunt their effects or create a push-pull effect, where your heart is being slowed down chemically, but stimulated by caffeine at the same time. This can lead to palpitations, irregular heartbeat, or increased fatigue later in the day. Another important one is thyroid medication, particularly liver. This medication is usually taken first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and it needs time to absorb fully before food or drink. Drinking coffee within 30 to 60 minutes of taking it can significantly reduce absorption, meaning your body may not be getting the full therapeutic dose. Over time, this could lead to worsening fatigue, weight gain, or other thyroid-related symptoms. Even if you're taking your pill exactly as prescribed, caffeine also interacts with certain antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications. For example, drugs like that means even a moderate amount of caffeine could cause heightened anxiety, nervousness, or insomnia, especially when combined with natural age-related changes in brain chemistry. And don't forget diuretics or water pills, which are often prescribed for high blood pressure or heart issues. Coffee itself has a mild diuretic effect, which means it promotes urination. When combined with medication that does the same, the result can be dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, or dizziness, especially in older adults with lower fluid reserves. Even supplements like calcium or magnesium can be affected. Caffeine can reduce your body's ability to absorb these minerals, and long-term interference could contribute to bone loss or muscle cramps, two common concerns after 60. So what can you do? First, space your medications and coffee apart. If you take a pill in the morning, give it at least 60 to 90 minutes before having your first cup of coffee. Second, track how your body feels throughout the day. If you notice increased anxiety, poor sleep, or dizziness, it might be a sign that caffeine is interfering with your treatment. And finally, talk to your doctor or pharmacist. Most people never think to mention their coffee habit during a checkup, but this one conversation could help you fine-tune both your medication and your mental clarity. In our next section, we'll explore what kind of coffee is best after 60. Is decaf really safer? Are dark roasts better for your brain? And does instant coffee make a difference? Let's break it all down. Not all coffee is created equal, especially when it comes to brain health. After 60, many seniors wonder whether switching to decaf is safer, or if certain types of coffee might protect memory better than others. Let's break this down. First, regular coffee contains caffeine in varying amounts, depending on the type of bean, brewing method, and portion size. A standard 8-ounce cup has anywhere from 70 to 120 milligrams of caffeine, but dark roasts and light roasts differ. Light roasts often have slightly more caffeine per bean, while dark roasts may have higher antioxidant content due to longer roasting time. So what does that mean for your brain? Antioxidants like chlorogenic acid in coffee help protect neurons from oxidative stress, which is a key contributor to cognitive decline and Alzheimer's. Dark roast coffee may contain slightly more of these compounds, making it a better choice for those focused on memory preservation even if it's a bit gentler on the stomach. But what about decaf? It still contains some caffeine, usually about 2 to 5 milligrams per cup, but more importantly, it retains many of the same polyphenols and antioxidants found in regular coffee. Studies show that decaf still offers neuroprotective benefits without the stimulating effects of caffeine, making it a great option for those with anxiety, insomnia, or medication interactions. If you're sensitive to caffeine but still want the cognitive benefits of coffee, switching to high-quality decaf, preferably water-processed, without harsh chemicals, is a smart move. You'll still get the memory-busting compounds without risking jitteriness or sleep disturbance. Now, what about instant coffee? It's convenient, cheap, and easy to prepare, but does it help or hurt your brain? The answer depends on the brand and processing. Many instant coffees are made from lower quality beans and may contain added sugars, artificial flavors, or preservatives. These additives can trigger inflammation, which is bad news for brain health. However, there are now premium instant coffee brands that retain antioxidants and avoid unnecessary additives. If you opt for instant, look for brands that are organic, unsweetened, and free of hydrogenated oils. Also be aware that some instant coffee contains a chemical formed during roasting that may be linked to neurological damage in high doses. While the amount in most coffee is small, it's still worth considering for seniors with compromised detox pathways. Another consideration is cold brew, which is lower in acidity and may be easier on digestion. It's made by steeping coffee grounds in cold water for 12 to 24 hours, resulting in a smoother flavor and potentially more stable caffeine release. Cold brew is also rich in antioxidants and less likely to cause acid reflux or upset stomach, a common issue after 60. To sum up, dark roast, regular coffee offers strong antioxidant benefits for brain protection. Decaf coffee is an excellent option for those with anxiety, sleep issues, or medication interactions. Instant coffee can be acceptable if it's clean, additive-free, and consumed in moderation. Cold brew may be ideal for sensitive stomachs or those who want a smoother energy curve. The best choice for your brain depends on your unique health profile, caffeine tolerance, and lifestyle. But the bottom line is, Cliff, when chosen and consumed wisely, can be part of a powerful brain protective strategy after 60. Up next, let's explore how to build the perfect brain-boosting coffee routine, what time to drink it, what to add or avoid, and how to pair it with breakfast for the best cognitive performance all day long. Now that we understand the different types of coffee, let's talk about how to build the perfect brain-healthy coffee routine after 60. Because just drinking coffee isn't enough. How to drink it, when you drink it, and what you drink it with can make all the difference for your memory, focus, and overall vitality. Let's start with timing. One of the most common mistakes seniors make is drinking coffee too early or too late. When you wake up, your body naturally releases cortisol, a hormone that helps you feel alert. Drinking coffee immediately upon waking may interfere with that rhythm and lead to a quicker energy crash later. Instead, try waiting 60 to 90 minutes after waking up before having your first cup. This aligns better with your circadian rhythm and enhances your mental clarity without spiking stress hormones unnecessarily. Plus, by delaying your coffee just a bit, you may find that your energy levels stay more stable throughout the morning. And what about afternoon coffee? For most seniors, consuming caffeine after 2 p.m. can negatively impact sleep quality even if you don't feel it right away. Poor sleep is one of the biggest contributors to brain fog, memory issues, and mood changes after 60. If you love an afternoon cup, consider switching to decaf or herbal alternatives like chicory root or mushroom-based coffee blends that support cognition without disrupting your rest. Next, let's talk about what you're adding to your coffee, because this is where many seniors unknowingly sabotage the brain benefits. If you're loading your coffee with artificial creamers, sugar, or flavored you may be feeding inflammation and spiking blood sugar, two enemies of cognitive longevity. A better strategy is to use brain-friendly add-ins that enhance both flavor and function. For example, cinnamon, this common spice, helps regulate blood sugar, boost circulation, and may even protect against neurodegenerative disease. Coconut oil or MCT oil, these healthy fats provide which are an alternative energy source for the brain, especially important as glucose metabolism slows with age. Collagen peptides. These support joint health and may help protect the brain's connective tissue. Plus they dissolve easily in coffee without altering the flavor. Lion's mane mushroom. This adaptogenic ingredient has been shown to stimulate nerve growth factor, which supports brain plasticity and memory formation. Some people also enjoy adding a dash of unsweetened cocoa powder, which is rich in flavonoids that promote blood flow to the brain. Just a teaspoon is enough to provide a subtle mocha taste and a cognitive lift. If you use milk, go for unsweetened almond, oat, or grass-fed dairy. Avoid creamers with hydrogenated oils or synthetic additives. And if you crave sweetness, choose stevia or monk fruit over sugar or artificial sweeteners, which can wreak havoc on gut and brain health. Now let's talk about pairing coffee with breakfast. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach can cause jitters, digestive upset, or even anxiety in some seniors. But when paired with a balanced breakfast, coffee becomes a powerful tool for cognitive performance. What makes a great brain-boosting breakfast to go with your coffee? Aim for protein, eggs, Greek yogurt, or plant-based protein helps stabilize blood sugar and support neurotransmitter production. Healthy fats, avocado, nuts, or chia seeds fuel the brain with steady energy. Fiber-rich carbs, oats, berries, or whole grain toast feed the gut microbiome, which in turn supports brain health. A sampo kombu, a slice of sprouted toast with almond butter and banana, plus a cup of coffee with cinnamon and collagen, or scrambled eggs with spinach and a small side of berries, simple, nourishing, and brain-loving. Lastly, don't underestimate the ritual aspect of coffee. Creating a peaceful morning routine that includes quiet time, light movement, or reading while enjoying your coffee can help lower cortisol, boost dopamine, and enhance mental clarity for the entire day. To recap, drink your coffee 60 to 90 minutes after waking. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. Add brain-boosting ingredients like cinnamon, mexi tea oil, or lion's mane. Avoid sugars and artificial creamers. Pair coffee with a balanced breakfast for better energy and cognition. Make it part of a calming, consistent routine that supports your mental state. When you combine all these elements, your daily coffee becomes more than a habit. So, what have we really learned about coffee after 60? It's not the enemy. In fact, when used wisely, coffee can be one of the simplest daily tools to support memory, protect your brain, and keep you feeling mentally sharp and emotionally balanced. But like any tool, it only works when you use it the right way. You've discovered that moderate coffee intake around 2 cups per day has been linked with better memory, lower risk of Alzheimer's, and reduced depression symptoms in older adults. But too much, that can spike anxiety, disturb sleep, and make brain fog worse. We've explored how different types of coffee, from Arabica to decaf to mushroom blends, can offer unique benefits depending on your needs. And we've talked about timing, how waiting 60 to 90 minutes after waking to drink coffee can enhance alertness without stressing your system, and how cutting off caffeine after 2 p.m. can drastically improve sleep and mood. Then we looked at what you put in your cup and how simple changes, like swapping sugary creamers for cinnamon or MCT oil, can transform your coffee from a crash-inducing treat into a brain-boosting ritual. And don't forget, coffee isn't a magic bullet, but paired with a healthy breakfast, a stable routine, hydration, movement, and rest, it can absolutely be part of a smarter, stronger aging strategy. If you're over 60 and still enjoy your morning cup, the takeaway is this: you don't need to give up coffee to protect your brain. You just need to upgrade how you drink it. So tomorrow morning, when you lift that warm mug to your lips, remember you're not just having a beverage. You're giving your brain the stimulation it needs to start the day focused, calm, and strong. Now, if you found this video helpful, here's what I want you to do next. Give this video a thumbs up so we can reach more people like you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. New videos drop every week with science-backed tips to help you stay healthy, strong, and independent as you age. And leave a comment below. How do you take your coffee? Have you tried any of the brain-boosting add-ins we mentioned? Your experience could help someone else make a smarter choice. Remember, small daily habits become powerful over time, and the way you drink your coffee might just be one of them. Take care of your brain, enjoy your cup, and I'll see you in the next video.